I'm a little rusty on it.
I'll hum it for you.
I'm going to be fine with your jokes, but I'm not sure about dark branding.
Oh my goodness. Ugh, okay. Oh, it's been a week, guys. It's been a week. Let's do the intro really quick, shall we? I noticed when I was editing, my like voice was so high up. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be watching this. My name is Josh. Welcome to my channel. On here we talk news, politics, and we talk current events. What do we got today? So, fires in Maui. Fucking robot dogs here to enforce the law. Fucking IRL Paw Patrol. IRL Mecha Paw Patrol out here. Ohio state voters coming in with the W. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of hang out a little bit. Watch some Trump voters for a bit. And then get on to just some mildly interesting stories I found interesting from the week. Oh my god. So I have one of those slushes that have nerds in it. I kind of forgot how effective sour candy is to me. So that'd be fun. Anyway, let's. Whoa. I don't know why I'm like very tired today, for whatever reason. But I have a sugary beverage that should wake me up a bit. Let's. Oh, should I switch? Did I ever switch that from last time? Ooh, I should probably do that. Ooh, I should probably do that. Because I think I'm still in just chatting, and while I'm not against just chatting, oh, there's only like 75 people in the politics one? Okay. What if okay, let's see. Oh, what if I do this? What if I name the oh, damn it. Let's see. You are required. Cat. Oh, whoops. I don't know how to spell cat. Oh, why is there an R in there? If you're in the politics category, you're required. Whoops. Oh my god. I just got news down the pike. Anna Kasparian has tweeted once again, which only means not good. Okay. Shall we get started? All right. So, who here has ever been to Hawaii? I have not, but something tells me it's not supposed to look like this. So, rapid moving fires that exploded on Tuesday night on the island of Maui killed dozens and displaced thousands. By the way, the death toll is now up to 53. Unprecedented wildfires burning on the Hawaiian island of Maui. Let's get a zoom in here a bit. Have displaced thousands of residents, destroyed parts of a centuries-old town, and killed at least 36, now 53, people. The disaster is one of the deadliest U.S. wildfires in recent years. The fast-moving fires, fanned by the winds of a distant hurricane, exploded overnight and moved so quickly that some residents jumped into the ocean to escape the flames and smoke. Jesus. Literally people fleeing into the fucking arms of the ocean to get away from the fires. Crews are continuing the battle of the fires, which have burnt through multiple neighborhoods, including the historic town of Lahaina. Lahana. Let's go with Lahana. We just had the worst disaster I've ever seen. All of Lahana is burnt to a crisp. It's like an apocalypse. Said Mason Jarvie, a Lahana resident who escaped. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, look at the harbor.
Excuse me? Okay, that's better. Oh, my headphones aren't even plugged in. That's okay. Shh. Jeez. Where's the frickin' jack? There it is. Yeah, this is not what Hawaii is supposed to look like. I'm assuming you guys know that, but you know, you just never know. Sheesh. State has opened 5 evacuation shelters. At least 4,000 tourists who are still trying to leave Western Maui, as Ed Sniffen of the Hawaii Department of Transportation. Leave Western Maui, said Ed Sniffen, Hawaii Department of Transportation. Oh my God. That's so sour. Firefighters are continuing to battle 3 major blazes, and authorities have closed the western portion of the island to everyone but emergency workers and evacuees. How did the Maui fire disaster start? The fires appear to have burned first in vegetation and then rapidly spread into populated areas as wind gusts of over 60 miles per hour rocked the island. The conflagration swept into coastal Lahaina with alarming speed and ferocity, blazing through intersections and leaping across wooden buildings in a town center that dates to the 1700s and is on the National Register of Historic Places. Residents raced onto crowded roads, some of which were blocked with flaming debris. The U.S. Coast Guard on Tuesday rescued 14 people, including 2 children who had jumped into the water to rescue. Quote, this was a classic wildland urban interface fire where there was a vegetation fire, but it moved into an urban area and started burning structure to structure, said climate scientist Daniel Swain. What's driving the Hawaii fires? The cause of the fires has not been determined, but they broke out as the island faced strong winds and low humidity that the National Weather Service had warned would bring high fire danger with the risk of rapid spread. Hawaii was facing drought conditions and was in the midst of its dry season when Hurricane Dora, several hundred miles away, brought especially strong winds. The islands are sandwiched between high pressure to the north and a low pressure system associated with Dora, several hundred miles away, said Jeff Powell, a meteorologist in Honolulu. The differences in the air pressure drove unusually strong trade winds that fanned the destructive flames. The winds, strengthened by the hurricane, knocked out power lines and moving downslope contributed to the extreme spread of flames. Downslope winds are drivers of the highest impact fires. Neil Lareau, a professor of atmospheric science at the University of Nevada, Reno, said on Twitter, downslope wind-driven fires have been responsible for 60% of structures lost and 52% of deaths in wildfires in the American West since 1999, according to a 2023 study. Oh my God, why does it keep... Oh, it's because of the thing. Okay, because of dark mode.
Oh my gosh, look at the harbor.
Is it the same video? Jesus. Fucking unrecognizable. This fucking looks like a war zone map. I'm half expecting to see people fucking slide canceling in the background.
And, we just had the worst disaster I've ever seen. All line is burnt to a crisp, and it's
Jesus.
Had 5 shelters, and we've, as a result of that, our west side of our island, Lahaina area was cut off. Only one road was able to be traveled in and out. Power was out to 2,628 Mexico's customers. There was no power.
What role is the climate emergency playing in the wildfires? You know, call me a leftist, but I was curious about this. They're kind of asking the question I was asking. What role is the climate emergency playing in the wildfires? The climate crisis driven by fossil fuel use is increasing the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events, including wildfires like the ones Maui is grappling with. Clay Traunerick. Okay, what is with people's names these days? A fire scientist at the University of Hawaii said the wet season could spur plants like guinea, whatever, grass, in invasive species found across parts of Maui to grow as quickly as to grow as quickly as 6 inches a day and reach up to 10 feet tall. That grass creates a tinderbox that's ripe for wildfire as it dries out. These grasslands accumulate fuels very rapidly. In hotter conditions and drier conditions with variable rainfall, it's only going to exacerbate the problem. Climate change not only increases the fire risk by driving up temperatures, but also makes stronger hurricanes more likely. In turn, these storms could fuel stronger wind events, like the one behind the Maui fires. Experts warn disasters such as the one unfolding on Maui are driven by multiple factors, but that the climate crisis is an undeniable contributor. These kinds of climate change related disasters are really beyond the scope of things that we're used to dealing with. Let's see, said Kelsey Copes Gerbitz, a postdoctoral researcher at the University of British Columbia's faculty of forestry. It's these kind of multiple interactive challenges that really lead to a disaster. The situation in Hawaii recalled scenes of devastation elsewhere in the world this summer, as wildfires caused by record heat forced the evacuation of tens of thousands of people in Greece, Spain, Portugal, and other parts of Europe. Western Canada suffered unusually severe fires, which we all kind of saw, right? Like, keep in mind, it was like, what if I just do red? If I just do red, are they going to understand what I'm talking about? Yeah, like this. Can I see? Oh my God. Yeah, this looks like, this is fucking, what's it called? It's fucking, not Cyberpunk. God damn it, what's the movie? Fuck. The other one, the movie that Cyberpunk's, I don't want to say based on. I mean, the dude did say that, like, a lot of inspiration. Fuck, what is it called? The movie, Ryan Gosling, where he's all like, fuck, shit, what is it called? God damn it, no, what is this? Why am I here? Okay. Damn it. What is it called? Yeah, like, okay, I think that might be Photoshop. No, wildfire smoke, yeah. And this is what you get for this kind of stuff. Like, oh, I don't know about this. This looks like the Raw intro in 2000. Whatever. Red tonight to show solid. Oh, no, not that. I don't want to see, yeah, like, God damn it, what is it called? Blade Runner? Yeah, Blade Runner. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, Blade Runner, the new one. I actually haven't seen the new one yet. But yeah, like, it looks like fucking Blade Runner out there. You've read 7 articles in the last year. I hope you... Oh, damn, guys. Jeez, just call me out, why don't you? Sheesh. Anyway, my point with a bit of this is, like, there's a lot of people who will point to... You know, I don't even know what to say anymore. We see these kinds of extreme weather events every couple of months, and whether it be like in some small town, or whether it be, in this case on an island, or whether it be in some third world country, we see the effects pretty clearly staring us in the face when it comes to climate change. And it doesn't seem like, from a certain segment of the population, I'm thinking, off the top of my head, people who vote in Republican primaries don't seem to be very interested or concerned with the prevalence of this stuff, because there's this thought. I think I've seen let me see if I can find it. Oh yes. Oh, I'm glad this
Earlier
was like
this week, Georgia Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor.
Okay, keep in mind, Marjorie Taylor Greene, like an absurd person, like a satire of what a human would be, a living Titan from Attack on Titans, like somebody who we shouldn't take seriously, but unfortunately we kind of have to, because she's a representative of thousands of people and one of the largest donation small donor fundraisers in the Republican Party, the only other option in this country. And this is the kind of lunacy around climate change, something she knows nothing about. She is the daughter of like a construction company owner. She was given pretty much everything that she's had and kind of just lived off of being a rich, spoiled little brat. And like, this is who we have to contend with when we try to assess the danger of climate change to us as a species.
People are not affecting climate change. You're going to tell me that back in the Ice Age, how much taxes did people pay and how many changes did governments make to melt the ice?
Oh my God.
The climate is going to...
So it's almost like like, does she think the concept of paying taxes does anything besides fund government? Like, this makes so little sense. And like, the depressing part is it doesn't have to. For her, no, I can't even say her audience, but for her voters and for the people who are enamored by her, it doesn't have to make sense. She won their vote simply by saying that first part, that we don't affect climate change, which is kind of insane, right? It's like unfathomable to think you live on a planet with, X number of resources, right? That I'm sure, there's some argument to be made that there's always, I think same with water, there's a process of, what's the word I'm looking for? Of reproduction at all times, of certain resources. But like, the idea that we can't affect our climate by the things that we do, the way that we terraform our planet to suit our needs, that's not somehow that's not going to have an effect on the climate and on the broader like weather patterns is actually insane. It's the idea that we can't predict anything. It's this like the idea that like, hey, if the polar ice caps melt, right? If all the ice in Antarctica just melted tomorrow, right? If we just fucking took heaters and fucking buckets of boiling water and everyone worked really hard to fucking melt all of the ice caps as quickly as possible, the idea that wouldn't affect, I don't know, the amount of water that's in the ocean, thereby like affecting the like natural occurrence of like tsunamis and everything else, because that's and like I already feel myself wasting my time with this, because at the end of the day, she's just a dumb fuck who doesn't know anything. And like, she doesn't believe in science. She doesn't believe in facts. She doesn't believe in like any evidence-based conclusion you can come to. She is either religiously motivated or I don't even know, so brain broken that like you couldn't show her direct evidence that pumping X amount of fossil fuels dries up basically the Earth's lubricant, so that when we get earthquakes that are normal, earthquakes happen, they've always happened, but we've always lived under a certain severity of earthquake, right? There's always an understanding that you're going to get a 100-year, 200-year, 1,000-year earthquake, but that's all you're going to get. And otherwise, you're going to get little earthquakes that we can live around, that we can organize society around. Sam Cedar has made this point really well, I think, where it's not like, is climate change happening? Absolutely. But is like, are we making the storms happen? Are we making any of this happen? No. All of this is the normal order of the day. But what we are doing is exacerbating and making the the actual outcomes, making the severity of storms, of hurricanes, of earthquakes, of all of this stuff. We have the ability to affect its severity through our actions. And like I remember getting I think like a comment on one of my videos, or somebody mentioning to me, first of all, how are you gonna stop the fucking plates under the earth from rubbing against each other and causing earthquakes? And like the idiot, like and like the answer is like, no, you don't understand. Nobody's trying to stop that. That is a normal function of the earth. The problem is when you extract the oil from the earth, you leave it with no, I said it earlier, but you leave it with essentially the concept is no lubricant. You now have these fucking plates rubbing against each other without the presence of that oil, which is going to cause rougher and rougher earthquakes. And again, like I can say all this, I'm not a geologist. I'm not a fucking science kid. I wasn't good at chemistry. I wasn't that good at geography. I wasn't that good at biology. I was a lot better at history and English. But like the people who like study this shit, who spend their lives interested and obsessed over this stuff, have come to a clear fucking answer. And it's idiots like this who aren't good at any of those things. She's just good at being a blowhard. And she's good at obfuscating humans' as responsibility. Funnily enough, she resides in the personal responsibility party, but yet can't possibly take any amount of responsibility over the planet. Anyway, we'll
To continue to change.
Did woolly mammoths pay taxes? Yeah, exactly. They drove diesel trucks too. What? The same day over on the Senate side, another Republican.
No, I want to. No. I don't want to hear your commentary, although that was solid. And and also keep in mind, we covered a little bit about kind of annoying activism. And let's be clear, this is what annoying activists are up against. They're up against people who are ready and willing to allow for worse outcomes, more deaths, because at the end of the day, fossil fuel extractors are willing to pay their campaign finances and send them nice gifts. That's the reason. That is the entire full unobscure reason as to why fucking Ron Johnson here and Marjorie Taylor Greene will go up there, stand in front of Congress, and say the dumbest, most asinine things about climate change because they are paid to, because they have no dignity, and they've already bought their their shelters. They know what's going on.
In Wisconsin's Ron Johnson suggested the climate crisis could be a good thing because Wisconsin is cold. And so if climate change makes it warmer, then why wouldn't we take comfort in that?
Can I hear the quote?
I mean, who cares if millions of other people are in danger of deprivation? Warm. Reported that the
God damn it. Am I not allowed? I wanted to hear Ron Johnson. Okay, but let's think about that for like 2 seconds, right? Ron Johnson's idea is like, hey, look, up in Wisconsin, it gets really cold. So what if it was like warmer? Wouldn't that be nice? Don't we want it to be warmer? Well, unfortunately, you live in a region where it's supposed to be cold. And because of that cold in the region you're in, because of the climate that you reside in, it's supposed to be cold. There are animals. There are there are what, tens, thousands, millions of wildlife, millions of ecosystems within the state of Wisconsin that rely on the consistency of that climate. You take that away, and all of those ecosystems are gone. Do you think like the grass? Do you think like the type of trees, the type of grass that is up in Wisconsin is equipped to deal with a hot climate all the time, a hot, drier climate all the time? No. Because like certain trees, and like this is elementary shit. There's a reason why palm trees are in the fucking Caribbean and in the fucking closer to the tropics, and fucking evergreens aren't. This. But, you know, it's just, people get paid a lot of money. So, you know, they're fine. And 53 people are dead in Maui because morons like fucking Ron Johnson and Marjorie Taylor Greene get paid. You know, they get paid to say dumb shit and not vote for stuff. But, you know. So if you think that's bad, you know, if it's not climate change that's going to kill you, then there's a good chance it's going to be what I am now dubbing Mecha Paw Patrol. I'm not joking. It is one of those fucking DigiPen dogs, but now strapped with a fucking camera. So it's now a fucking, it's literally, I'm not joking. It's Mecha fucking Paw Patrol. On a Harlem street this summer, you New Yorkers caught a glimpse of the future. Oh, Jesus. Strutting between a log jam of New York City NYPD vehicles blocking an intersection was one of the NYPD's newest recruits, a robotic canine called Digid. Again, yeah, mm-hmm. What is this fucking sound effect? Why did they put that sound effect? Okay, ignore the silly sound effect. This is a serious story, people. Do you remember that episode of fucking what's it called, of Black Mirror? Well, we're here now. That was emblazoned with the department's blue and white colors and outfitted with a number of high-tech accessories. So, like, okay. So we've talked a little bit about, like, kind of the privatization and the like the biases of Silicon Valley and what their real goal is. A lot of the times you see these tech industry guys talk about making the world better, right? There's always this overture of improving the lives of people, right? Of making this or that thing easier. But keep in mind that with all of these technologies, they're not publicly owned. None of them are here to make your life better. None of them are here to make, you know, make it easier for you to access groceries, make it easier for you to access healthcare, make it easier for you to go about your daily routine. None of that. What these technologies are built for at the end of the day are a way for capitalists to outsource their ability to protect their property, especially in cases like this, where we see a fucking mecha canine over here developed so it can walk the streets of New York and surveil people at, like, this is the future we're looking at. How much money do they put towards, like, you know, the DigiPen school and all the engineers and everything else? And this is what we're getting as the public. Are we getting, like, oh, do you have, did you get your leg blown off because you were a veteran? Did you suffer some accident that forced you to lose a limb? Well, we have no solution for you, but we built a dog that can now surveil you and come after your ass if you're suspected of breaking the law. All the things we could use this for, and this is what we use it for. The funds of the purse of the cybernetic hound did not go through the standard budgeting process. Oh, of course it didn't, which requires oversight and a vote from the New York City Council. Instead, police brass received cash directly from the federal government under something called the Equitable Sharing Program, which supplements the budgets of local police departments with money and property forfeited in the course of criminal investigations. So, okay. let's be really clear here. This is on Biden on this one. 200%. This is a federal program. This is 200% on Biden on this one. Brandon out here giving out fucking robo-dogs. The multi-billion-dollar initiative has helped law enforcement agencies pay overtime and arm themselves with equipment and sophisticated weaponry since the Reagan era. Oh yeah, this should be absolutely repealed, by the way. Like 200%. There should not be a way for police departments throughout the country to just get handed outsized equipment that their communities aren't able to influence the use of or the purchasing of. Multi-billion-dollar initiative, but the program is now entering a new phase as it provides access to a futuristic era of high-tech policing tools that have raised fresh questions about the balance between privacy and public safety, along with biases inherent in supposedly neutral algorithms. Yeah, keep in mind, there's no such thing as a neutral algorithm. At the end of the day, somebody wrote it, which means it's going to be subject to whoever wrote its biases. Advances in artificial intelligence, surveillance, and robotics are putting the stuff of yesteryear's science fiction into the hands of an ever-growing list of municipalities from New York City to Topeka. Privacy advocates are worried. Yeah, no shit. More departments are using more tools that can collect even more data for less money. Let's see. It said Albert Fox Kahn, head of the New York City-based watchdog group Surveillance Technology Oversight Project, or STOP. Oh, makes sense. I'm terrified about the idea that we'll start seeing decades of work to collect the massive databases about the public being paired with increasingly invasive AI models to try and determine who and who isn't a threat. Between fiscal years 2018 and 2021, the Department of Justice deposited nearly $6.5 billion in its assets forfeiture fund, which is fueled by cash and property that federal prosecutors seized in the course of litigating crimes, according to the Institute for Justice, a nonprofit law firm that argues for changes to the forfeiture process. $6.5 billion over how many years is that? 3 years? So what is that? No, give me this. Yeah, what's that number? What was it? 6.5 bill? Nope, not that one. Fuck me. How do I do clear? Oh my god. Okay, where's clear? 6.5 divided by, what'd I say, 3 years? So what if we round up, that's $2.17 billion. How much is let's see, oh actually no, let's do college. Let's find out. How much would free college cost? Educational Data Initiative. Free college, how do you pay for it? Ooh, here we go. Let's see. Some experts believe there's room for federal government to pay. Here we go. It could cost around $680 billion annually to provide free college. That's a could. Can I get like something a little more concrete? Estimate? No, not that. SS&C Technologies. Okay, fine. We'll go whatever the first one is, and we'll just live with that one. American Family Plan. Let's see. Top quality. Let's see. Estimated total cost of American Family Program is $305 billion. $109 billion for the total cost. We'll go funding 2 years of free community college. $85 billion will go to the Pell Grant program. $62 billion. And let's see. How much is this? How much did I say that number was? 2.17. So that's like 2.17 you could put towards. Certainly they wouldn't cover all this program, but like, again, these costs you can bet will go down. But either way, that's $2.17 billion. We'll just say 2.7. 2.1. $2.1 billion. That could be going to literally anything else. Less than 1% of the $6.27 trillion annual budget could be used to make college free for all. Oh, geez. Okay, that's, yeah. 6.2, yeah. And this is like, and like, you know, I'm fine in certain scenarios where this comes in, where, you know, you use some of this, but no, this should be going towards, let's see. What's the Medicare for all cost? I'm pretty sure the Medicare for all cost is more. Or maybe I was just incorrect in that. God, I hate Bing. It's so bad, Medicare. I really should. For all costs. Fact check. Medicare for all would save the U.S. trillions. True. Spending estimate continue rising, which will reach a nearly $6 trillion a year. Recent study. Spending would approximately $37 trillion between 2017 and 2026. Let's see. I want to know like a yearly number. Okay. My point is there's better places for this money to go. That's my broad point. Which put it towards this program. Why not? Of that sum, more than $1 billion was doled out to state and local governments, which along with similar streams of cash from the Department of Treasury and local district attorneys have created a rich source of funding used to purchase emergency technology. Cities in Kansas, Illinois, California, and Michigan have spent federal forfeiture money on license plate reading systems. Broward County, Florida purchased an audio gun detection system. What the fuck? And the district attorney of Allegheny County in Pennsylvania, oh, I know where that is, spent $1.5 million over the last several years upgrading a Pittsburgh surveillance network. Well, that's nice. New York has spent north of $337 million in federal and state forfeiture funds over the last decade, according to statistics from the city comptroller, and had a balance of more than $42 million as of last summer. Oh, yeah. So, like, whenever Actual Justice Warrior tells you that they defunded the police, this is another example where, no, they didn't, bud. If they really wanted to defund the police, they'd take this away. According to the NYPD, under longstanding rules, the department is eligible to apply for a share of the forfeiture proceeds whenever it participates in an investigation with state and federal partners. The Department of Justice and the Department of Treasury asset forfeiture programs are, first and foremost, law enforcement programs. They remove the tools of crime from criminal organizations, deprive wrongdoers of the proceeds of their crimes, recover property that may be used to compensate victims, and deter crime. Recently, the NYPD drew down $750,000 to purchase 2 Digidogs. Like, look at this. They spent, what, $750 million? No, of $1 million. I'm sorry. I thought there was one more. They spent, yeah, $750,000 to get 2 of these mecha canines, which police officials say will be ideal for hostage situations or entering radioactive or chemically hazardous areas that would be too dangerous for human. Okay. You know what? I want to know. What the fuck are the radioactive zones? Radioactive zones in New York City. What the fuck? This corner of the Brooklyn-Queens border is the most. Hit me with it. Radioactive spot in New York City. All right. So it's a neighborhood. An 1918 chemical engineer, his brother. Okay, let's see. This hidden city recently published this fantastic bit in New York history detailing how the corner Irving Avenue and Moffett Street and the border became the city's most radioactive spot. No, seriously. Like, what the fuck are they talking about? Show me. No, this is a fucking nuke map. That's not what I... God damn it. That is not what I was looking for. Like, what? Here we go. Okay, cool. Cool. Manhattan area radiological survey. Let's see. Gamma exposure rate, 5 to 7. The measure total count data. Okay, let's see. This is 2005. No, no, no. Yeah, like what the fuck are they talking about? What is this nonsense? Fucking chemical, fucking radioactive. What the fuck are what are New York City cops doing when they're not fucking bashing teenagers over the head at Union Station? Jesus. Under a previous but short-lived pilot during the Bill de Blasio administration, a digidog was deployed during at least 2 standoffs, and in one instance was used to deliver food to hostages. In April this year, firefighters deployed a separate digidog to search for survivors at a lower Manhattan. See, okay, that's a little bit more understandable. Like, if you're running into a fucking collapsed building or something, then yeah. Like, fucking radioactive too dangerous. If it's fucking too hazardous for humans, there's not crimes going on there. Like, what? City's most recent robot purchase is part of the broader push from Mayor Eric Adams, a moderate Democrat. No, he's a fucking, no, stop it. He's a fucking conservative. A moderate Democrat retired police captain to incorporate high-tech policing tools into the NYPD's arsenal no matter the source of funding. After taking office, the mayor touted new technology that could scan for guns in a crowd or at schools and promised to increase the department's use of facial recognition and other types of surveillance. Oh, cool. So if you're in New York City, guess what? You're being scanned every other second to make sure that you're not, some on like a terrorist watch list. And you better hope that the facial recognition doesn't mistake you for somebody else. You just better hope that. You know, you might get tackled by the police or brought in for questioning just because you were mistaken as and thought of as somebody else. Earlier this month, when the president of Israel visited the NYPD command center, police officials told him the department has access to 60,000 cameras, which a dedicated team used to track suspects via video feed around the city. Oh my God, that's just making me think of that's literally the fucking thing from Dark Knight. That's like, it's literally what it sounds like. The like big ass, the camera thing from camera, fuck, I don't know. Or maybe like, what was it? Like surveillance? Yeah. This shit. Yeah, it's literally this. They bought this and they were like, this is how we keep New York safe. We just fucking surveil everybody at all times 24/7. In this month, New York Post report noted that the NYPD recently purchased new drones and is exploring the idea of sending them to 911 calls before first responders and blasting out messages to the public. Jesus. Honest to God. Oh, it's a Daleks. Okay, as long as it's a Daleks, that's nice. At a press briefing in Times Square in April when Adams unveiled the Digidogs, again, they're mecha canines, he also announced 2 other pieces of new tech, an autonomous robot resembling a Star Wars droid, well, that's nice, that will patrol Times Square and probably get kicked over, and a tracking device that can be fired by an officer at a fleeing car to avoid... Dude, oh my God. What the fuck is going on in New York City? What the fuck? No, seriously, look, okay. Like, I get it. Everyone wants to be fucking Batman, but like, what is going on? We have fucking cops shooting tracking device. Like, are they fucking Lloyd Forger? What is going on? Autonomous resembles Star Wars. You guys are fucking high. This looks like a fucking Daleks, you morons. I hate how they're like, oh, it looks like Star Wars. Like, because it's white? Like, what? It looks like a trash can. It's a fucking Daleks. Where's the Daleks? Ah, shit. I'd have to remember how to spell Daleks. Oh, how do you... Daleks? Fuck, dude. I don't know how to spell Daleks. It's been so long. Doctor Who? Yeah, how the fuck do you spell them? Oh, I'm sorry. It's D. Sorry, D. It's with a K. I'm sorry. I'm a bad fan. I don't know. Yeah, it's like fucking T minus how long until we get this shit. Fucking just wait. This will be the real. You know. It starts looking all cute like this, They just need to give it its little arms and you're done. You know, he's already got the cameras on all sides. God. Policing efforts have extolled emergency technology as ways to ensure law enforcement solves more crimes with speed and accuracy, in part by automating evidence that was previously collected under less reliable circumstances. Critics like to portray such policing technologies as DNA databases, photo recognition software, automatic license plate readers, and in New York City, the gang database, as instruments of Orwellian government and surveillance. No. First of all, no, I wouldn't call actually, DNA database is a bit sus. But you would also, like, that'd be one of those things that, like, if you commit a crime and they take your DNA, then I guess that's not the worst thing, because you did kind of commit crimes. But I don't love the DNA one. Photo recognition software, also don't love. License plate readers, I don't care about, because license plates are public. They're public. It's public information. It's not it's not like something that's supposed to be private. I guess technically your face isn't private, but I don't feel good about the idea that, like, there's a system just constantly, like, pinging everybody in New York, fucking Watchdog style, and everything else. I don't know, man. But absolutely, DNA databases, that probably leans a little bit more on the R, or what, like, gang databases. No, again, that's not information that I think should be privileged. Bill Bratton, former police commissioner. I'm sorry. The police commissioner thinks the rest of us are just getting a bit too touchy, guys. So calm down. They're nothing of the kind. DNA, photo recognition, and license plate readers are all more reliable identification tools than the traditional reliance on eyewitnesses. Yeah, because you can't read DNA. Like, first of all, DNA databases, I mean, I guess for, like, rape cases and stuff like that, we're getting into a little bit more grayer territory. I guess if it's not, like, as long as it's not one of those things where, you know, you're giving all of that up preemptively, I suppose, then yeah. But yeah, like, photo recognition, I don't know, man. It's a step above. It's a grade above. Caveat emptor. I don't know what the fuck. While recognizing that technology can sometimes be a helpful tool to fight crime, privacy advocates nevertheless worry about a lack of ethical guardrails for police departments using robots, facial recognition, and increasingly broad local surveillance networks. Yeah. At the end of the press release announcing the purchase, like, okay, look, are you more safe the more surveillance that all of us are under, right? Like, are we safer with more surveillance over us? Probably. You know, if there are more eyes watching you, that probably means less people committing crime. That probably means less people accidentally dying of accidents. Everything in between that, right? But the balance to that is always is always privacy. And, like, we've looked at this chart, guys. Like, where's the thing? Like, we've seen this chart before. Well, this is murders. I want major crimes. Sure. Yeah, give me major crimes. I'm cool with that. Oh my God. Zoom, Jesus. The one time this is actually, so yeah, like 2000, which, granted, this isn't even counting the spike in the 90s. You can see an incredible precipitous drop. You can obviously see a spike during the pandemic. That's kind of obvious as to why that happened. Numbers have gone back down to pre-pandemic level in the city. So, like, the question is, the things that they have access to right now, let's grant them that automatic license plate readers, facial recognition, DNA databases, and gang databases have gotten us these numbers, right? have continued to drive crime down in the city of New York. What the fuck do we need fucking mecha canines out here for? Like, why do we need mechas? What's the argument here? If crime is going down, why are we still ramping up the police budgets and like the resources? Shouldn't the resources just kind of stay on par? There's no need, like this isn't capitalism. This isn't this isn't profits. There doesn't necessarily need to be growth here. At the end of the press release announcing the purchase, let's see. Well, okay, yeah. At the end of the press release announcing the purchase of the mecha canines, for instance, the NYPD sought to assuage a concern grimly indicative of this new era. Under the NYPD's protocols, officers will never outfit a robot to carry a weapon and will never use one for surveillance of any kind, the department wrote. It turns out that's an important disclaimer. By the way, they said that it won't be used for surveillance? Really? It needs a camera. All you have to do is hook a fucking feed up to that camera and you're done. If you don't think, and like they say that, oh, we'll never put a weapon on it. Is there anything to stopping them? Because at the end of the day, they can say, oh, look, we're not looking to put a fucking AR-15 on this thing. But if fucking DigiPen comes to them and go, hey, we actually tested the ability to add a turret on this thing, you don't think they're going to use it? No, they're going to keep ramping this stuff up because police forces, that's kind of what they're interested in. It's like, you become a police officer, you get to play with the fun toys. Like, again, fucking Mecha Paw Patrol over here. And all the while, we're not fixing the homeless crisis in New York City. We're not fixing housing scarcity. We're not doing any of those things. We're buying fucking mecha dogs. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. Well, okay. But man, not great news, but we do have some good news. We do indeed have some good news. Ooh, let me oh my god. Let's see. Let's see. Sorry, I know I always change this mainly because I don't know. I feel like it's just a it's like a thing. Anyway, all right, let's do some good news, right? Because both of these both of those stories were a little on the downer side. So let's take a look at Ohio, shall we? So the Ohio GOP was attempting to what's the word I'm looking for? Change the threshold in the Ohio Constitution in an early August ballot initiative to take a bit of advantage of the I just realized I forgot to hit the record button. So now this is not. Now I'm gonna have to download this entire VOD. That's okay. Anyway, where was I? Right. Ohio Republicans tried to introduce a ballot initiative here in the randomly in August to change the Ohio Constitution. Let's and the basically the voting approval threshold. So let's take a look at that.
Well, now voters will get to decide, meaning you, what the threshold will be to pass amendments in the Ohio Constitution. You'll be able to cast your vote in the upcoming August election. Yesterday, demonstrators protesting the move were expelled from the State House. Now, Ohio lawmakers agreed to let voters decide whether to make it more difficult to amend the state constitution. This would be by requiring 60% voter approval rather than a simple majority. But this move is really, many people say, all about abortion, to make it harder for a possible abortion amendment.
So keep in mind, There's kind of a reason why we've seen a couple of these, right? The Republican Party has been trying, in a failing effort so far, to subvert democracy on the lower scales, on the lower levels. We see it in a good example is in Texas. In Texas, I don't remember the actual bill name, but in Texas, the state house passed a bill that essentially will give oversight of federal elections in the single county that resides, that Houston resides in. Over it essentially gives so I'm like trying to remember I can't remember the county. I think it's Harris County. I'm pretty sure it's Harris County. In Harris County, Texas, the largest county in the state of Texas, because it houses Houston, their elections are going to be at risk, very low bar risk, by the way, of being taken over by the state governor's house, essentially, or at the very least, a person that the governor Greg Abbott, a Republican, Houston, a rather blue city in his very red state. So, this would essentially hand over the election running process in that one county, in Harris County. And the law was written pretty much only to target that one county. I can't remember. Did it pass, actually? Let's find out. Because I don't remember if it passed. Harris County election law? Sure. State intervention under new. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Yep. This is what the one I was looking for. Muscle through legislation allowing unprecedented state intervention into elections in Harris County, the most populous county in Texas, threatening to drastically. There's a video that I did on it. Maybe when this is a segment, I'll put it up there. We actually went over all of this, and actually, I think we read the like plain text. Let's see. I don't know if it actually ended up passing. I mean, pretty sure it did. Let's see. We haven't checked in on it in a while. Last action. Status. Out of committee. Oh, fucking goddamn it. I didn't want to click on that. Elections, Senate. Oh, shit. Okay, no. Wait. Signed by the... Yep. Okay, so yeah. I was wondering. So it has passed the House and the Senate. It was signed by the governor. It is now going to take effect. So starting in September... the governor's office, the state governor's office is going to have the ability to essentially take over the election running process in one county of their state, in only one county, that being Harris County, incredibly the bluest and most populous city in the state of Texas. Another law, if I remember correctly, there was one in Kansas. Where there was I believe it was Kansas, amendment to ban abortion and have that ban be put into the Constitution. That also failed. So this has been an effort by the Republican Party to pretty much while in between elections, time to rush, make sure that, we get all of this through as quick as possible, everything else. So, Ohio was just kind of the newest example of them attempting to change the threshold for for legislation to pass, or for ballot measures to pass. Sorry, what's it called? To make sure that if or not, is ballot essentially to make sure that the threshold is a little bit higher, so that in a state like Ohio, if it ends up being 53-48 or 53-47, I guess. Yeah, 53-47. If it ends up being, just a bit over, over the line, that It doesn't matter. You need to get they basically want to institute a 60% threshold on any kind of legislation or any kind of like change to the Constitution, so that like getting 60% is kind of difficult. That's not going to be nearly as easy. And in a state like Ohio, especially around abortion, they most likely saw numbers saying that if they ran on that, it would end up being like 55-45, or it would end up being, close, but the pro-abortion vote would end up winning out. So they devised this plan to have a ballot initiative to change the threshold so that, to get 60% of the vote, which would be so much harder. It would not stop and not completely halt the ability for abortion to be, codified. But it would certainly make it very difficult to do so. That was that was kind of the plan. So we can continue here. I remember that Texas one. God, that Texas one's awful.
To pass. Lena Lai explains the legal fight ahead.
For months, abortion rights supporters have been trying to gather enough signatures to put on the November ballot an amendment to cement abortion rights in the Ohio Constitution.
26 yeas and 7 nays.
However, the Republican-led General Assembly agreed to let voters decide in August whether to raise the threshold for passing future amendments from 50% plus 1 to 60%.
There you go.
To change our Constitution is so significant that it should have the commitment and support of 60% rather than 50 plus 1.
That has been the law in Ohio.
And keep in mind, they've always run it like this. In Ohio, it's always been a 50 plus 1, a relationship in terms of what passes and what doesn't, in terms of like voting on amendments. But because the Republican Party understands, especially the one in Ohio, understands that abortion is a losing, is a losing policy, is a losing position to be in, they've, instead of trying to convince people, instead of trying to make stronger arguments, any of that shit, instead they've decided, okay, what if we just make it? What if we just ask people to increase the threshold so we don't even have to bother ever like dealing with this again? And yeah, it was a good plan. Unfortunately, people were paying attention in the state.
For over 100 years.
Case Western constitutional law professor Jesse Hill, who also does work in the area of abortion rights, is raising a red flag.
So you foresee legal challenges here then?
Absolutely. It would be shocking if there are not legal challenges to this.
You see, just last January, Governor DeWine signed into law legislation eliminating August special elections unless it's to vote on a member of Congress. GOP lawmakers called these small turnout elections not worth the $20 million price tag.
Keep in mind, that's like that's literally them saying it's too. It just costs too much for you to voice your opinion in our democracy. It's too expensive.
That is, until the abortion issue came into play. The GOP-led General Assembly moved to make this August an exception to current law ahead of a potential abortion rights initiative
they've got their heads so far up their asses, I swear. They make an argument and then like do the exact opposite. Jesus.
November.
And the General Assembly is now trying to pass a resolution that actually conflicts with that law, and that's not proper. You can't do that.
The proposed constitutional change would also require enough signatures from all 88 Ohio counties for an amendment to even go on a ballot instead of the current 44. The proposed 60% threshold, Christy, comes at a time when polls show support for legal access to abortion in Ohio is at about 59%.
Yep. What did I say? They had some kind of information that told them, all right, 58% of the population in Ohio believes abortion should be legal and people should have access to it. So, make the threshold 60 so that, you don't ever have to deal with them being able to pass. And not only that, but like making it so that it's like 60% essentially gridlocks the entire like abortion conversation, which again like allows for the continuation of legislation in the state to be passed by, you know, its state senate and state house that might restrict abortion. So like, you know, superseding those kinds of actions would be codifying abortion in the state constitution, which the Republican Party does not want in Ohio. They do not want people voting on on an amendment to their constitution saying they have a right to abortion, because the Republican Party in Ohio is working fucking around the clock to write legislation to take that right away from everybody. That's why the threshold is 60. They found polling that said it was 59. They set the threshold to 60. Let's see. The Republican grand strategy, quiet apart from Trump's efforts to become dictator, has been to push issues that are at odds with the views of most voters and then prevail by destroying democracy. They have done this via voter suppression, extreme gerrymandering, rigging courts, having red state governors countermand the preferences of citizens in blue cities, and by the way, this is like a direct reference to the to Texas, and by restricting reproductive rights. But the strategy may have just reached its limits. In Ohio, the Republican Secretary of State, Frank LaRose, a candidate for U.S. Senate, cooked up an August ballot initiative requiring all future ballot initiatives to amend the state constitution to pass by a supermajority of 60%, with a referendum expected on the normal election day in November to protect abortion. The supermajority initiative was deliberately held in August in order to hold down turnout. Jesus. Yeah, because there's already one. Yeah, because what is it? Because in Ohio, Ohio ballot initiatives set the stage. Major. Yep. No, stop it. Go away. I want to know what else is on the ballot in November. Ohio. No, this isn't what I know. No, stop it. What the hell? Another feature as a steamy set. What the fuck? Oh, proposals in Ohio is issue 1. Lovely. Oh my goodness. I just want to know what the it's going to be hard to find. Oh wait. Ballot measures maybe? Yeah, okay, let's see. On August, 2 statewide ballot measures were certified to appear on the ballot in 2023 on November 7th. What are the ones on November 7th? Cool. November 7th. Okay, here we go. Right to make reproductive decisions, including abortion, provide that each individual has a right to make and carry out one's own reproductive decisions. Look at that. Yep. Establish a state constitutional right to make and carry out one's own reproductive decisions, including decisions about abortion, contraception, fertility treatment, miscarriage, care, and continuing pregnancy. Prohibit the state of Ohio from interfering with the constitutional right, except when the state demonstrates that this is the thing that it is using the least restrictive means. Allow the state restrict abortion after fetal viability, defined as the point in a pregnancy when, in a professional judgment of the pregnant patient's treating physician, the fetus has a significant likelihood of survival outside the uterus with reasonable measures. And prohibit the state of Ohio from banning abortion when, in professional judgment of a physician, an abortion, quote, is necessary to protect the pregnant patient's life or health. Yep. Then this is why. This is exactly why. So, you know, if you live in Ohio, you got some votes to make. Marijuana legalization. Look at you guys. All right. Yeah, join the group. Join the fun. But, you know, after this loss, let's take a look at Mike DeWine out here. I'm kind of curious about what this response is going to be. This was, let's see, press briefing on Thursday, specifically asked about the special election.
I know you said you think it's too late for the legislature to act.
Oh my God.
Do you have any concern that people...
Questions?
I know you said you think it's too late for the legislature to act, but do you have any concern that people I don't like that more than I don't like this amendment. Like, there may be people who choose the amendment over what.
Well, I think the only thing in front of us now is a
I know that was loud. I said
amendment.
it up.
And again, do you like the constitutional amendment? Do you not like the constitutional amendment? And the only thing I would say, again, in answer to your specific question is we will get to a point in.
Wait. Mike, buddy, pal, my guy, my dude, my fucking, my dude who just woke up out of a sarcophagus. If it's just about the amendment, if it's all about whether people like it or dislike it, then why the fuck did you guys push for this fucking August special election then? Like, what?
In this state, where the majority of people will have an abortion policy that the majority of the people will be able to accept and will be able to say, yes, that's okay. I'm comfortable with that. Understanding that this is a topic that people don't want to talk about. It's a topic that
people don't want to talk about abortion
with. But ultimately, that is the goal. I don't think we get to that goal with this constitutional amendment. I've already said some things about this, but at this point, there's nothing that the legislature can do simply because the constitutional amendment Constitution always preempts what a piece of legislation would be passed.
Can I ask you about the latest officer-involved shooting in Columbus? It's the 10th so far this year. The police.
I
don't care about officer shootings.
Help local police department. Opportunity for police includes having the highway
not
patrol,
in general, just
more active.
It's not on the topic.
Have guns to making sure these people we can put together. I'm talking any particular city, but city the work that they need. I mean that's kind of up with, and they do when we need. It's going to be. Look, I have available.
Someone on the right who think that you weren't active enough promoting it.
There we go.
To replace, but we can add to what they're doing, and that certainly is available.
You could have cut a video supporting issue 1. You could have, hit the rubber chicken circuit hard for it. Why didn't you do that? And what do you make of criticism from some on the right who think that you weren't active enough promoting it?
Look, when something passes with that kind of margin,
yeah, it was pretty immediate. Also,
15, 16 campaigns, and a number of those statewide. I think I've run more for statewide office than at least anybody who's active in politics today. When you win with that kind of majority, don't fault the campaign, don't fault your strategy. It just wasn't going to happen. Thank you very much.
Wow. And see, that's the thing, right? Because, he'll come back here and say, it's just not the issue. It's just don't bother with it. It's just there's not, it's not worth, it's just not worth it. It's clearly a losing issue. So why the fuck are we even what? If that's the case, then why did y'all go after this? And it's just, and the reason is because they know that they're losing. Since the midterms, the Republican Party has been in trouble in terms of their election prospects. Simply put, being the party that's known as the people who took away Roe v. Wade and a lot of people's rights around this country. Being that party, it's definitely going to be hard to shake that. And it's why they've decided that doubling down and trying to quickly pass, as many, anti-democratic laws as they can, quickly, shuffle the board to make sure that, now it's going to be harder to pass ballot initiatives for amendments, now it's going to be, we got to make it just a little bit harder for people. It's the end of the day. They recognize this, but they can't help it. This is what the Republican Party is and has always been. The only difference is now I think, are seeing it for what it really is. You know, and even some of, I think, their voters are seeing it for what it is. And it's just power grabs. That's all it comes down to. They want power, and, you know, they're willing to, you know, bend the rules as much as they can, break them if they need to, and rewrite them when they're done. So, if only Democrats were as bold, but unfortunately, they're just not, sadly. Either way, I guess, you know, we're a little over. Let's head into the fun half, the legally distinct fun half, and yeah, we'll be back. Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah.
Could not shop at Target, or else you're gay.
Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes.
Just to simplify this, I think we're just going to use.
I may keep the pantyhose on. This feels kind of good, actually.
Larger than that, Charlie.
I live like a capitalist every single day.
Beat it up, N-word.
What is more important to our culture than the Joker?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
I like black guys a lot. The alpha males are back.
All right, we're back. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I was looking again. Why does it always feel like stream keeps dying on me? I can't quite figure it out. It's so weird. Like, I look at my stuff, and it's like, and it looks like my stream is down, but then I get on. And as far as I can tell, I haven't seen anything that's like to indicate, at least to me, that if there's anything weird going on. Oh, whatever. Whatever. Either way, all right. So I am told by CNN that some GOP voters in key states aren't backing Trump, apparently. So that's a bit of news to me. I want to take a look at this, and then I want to take a look at More Perfect Union put out a video yesterday of them going to a Trump rally. So I kind of want to get a bit of, you know, let's be a bit centrist here. Let's get a bit of both sides, shall we?
Tonight, we premiere a new series I'm very proud to be a part of that will run from tonight through Election Day. It's called All Over the Map. I'll be traveling around the country, giving you a ground's-eye view of the presidential election from the perspective of...
Oh, by the way, let me just say this right now. Man, CNN, I feel like, learned absolutely not one fucking lesson about 2016, except for the fact that Trump coverage and everything centered around the guy does great for ratings. That's the lesson that I think overall they learned. People were upset because of the boundless coverage that they gave Trump, and to be certain they did, but people make it out to be like, oh, CNN wanted him to win, or oh, CNN was being stupid. No, they weren't being stupid. They knew what was making them money. They know what's going to make them money in this upcoming cycle. I know what's going to make them money. It's going to be the same thing that I'm going to be covering. Horse races sell. And these people are in the best position to what's it called? To, what's the word I'm looking for? Benefit from that horse race. So.
Voters in the key places, in the
Also,
swing
who the
states.
fuck is
What
this
motivates
guy?
them? Who's gaining or losing their trust and why? In the next few months, I'm going to talk mostly to Republican voters about the former president.
Oh my God. See what I mean?
Despite his many legal and character controversies.
Now, I'm going to try not to stop this every other second, but I already kind of see the problem we're going to run into. And it's that we're going to hear from every fucking shade of Republican Party voter that we can possibly get. And like, do you notice that the focus is going to be on Trump and like support thereof? And like, this is another example of how mainstream fucking centrist news broadcasters quell legitimate debate from the left. I'm not talking, by the way, from RFK. RFK is not running to the left of Biden. I'm not even really sure I'm talking about Marianne. Like, I like Marianne Williamson, but it doesn't really seem like she's running to win or running to make much of an impact. So, but like, they're not going to have, a bunch of Biden voters on to opine over the things that they're not satisfied with, even though they absolutely should. But, that would put more pressure on Biden to, legislate from the left a little bit. But, they won't do it because if there's one thing, CNN, MSNBC, all these kinds of guys, they don't like the fascists, but fascism is good TV. But they hate progressives and they hate socialists because socialists offer an alternative vision for the future that does not leave in place the power structures that CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all of these guys need to stay in power. They need the hierarchy and the structures that we have right now. And it's why they defend them harder than they go after somebody like Trump or any of the other fascists on the right.
Or is there sufficient demand for change and a new face for the party? We start our series in Iowa because that's where the race really begins. And the Republican presidential field is scheduled to descend en masse to the Iowa State Fair beginning tomorrow. A defining moment for those campaigns, just 5 months.
Yeah, I think the first debate's on the 23rd.
Business is booming.
This is a typical residential install.
Midwest Solar's workload now running at 15 to 20 installations a month.
Oh my God. Can I just say, there is a deep part of me that's like, fuck, man, to live in Iowa where you get to be like first out of the gate. I don't know how nice Iowa is, but they got the Iowa State Fair. And again, like I said, first in the nation to start. This is where the horse race starts. So
we lost money the first year we were in business, and we're going to make money in our second year. It's a small system, 10 panels.
Tends to happen.
Chris Mudd is the CEO and says yes.
Oh my God.
Give President Biden some credit.
Small business guy.
Absolutely. There are lots of grants available to business owners. The tax credit at the production.
But Mudd is a lifelong Iowa Republican.
Of course he is.
That tax credit money be spent on a border wall and hopes for a Donald Trump comeback.
Do I think that Donald Trump's perfect?
What? Why would we spend it on a border wall that doesn't do anything? Like, okay, this is what I mean. Like, when people are like small business guys, I feel like we venerate these people like they're fucking geniuses or even that they're any smarter than the next guy. Like, really, you think that tax credits that go towards helping your industry, your business, help stir some economic growth in your area, you think that would be better building some fuck off wall? Like, what is the wall? The wall's not going to appreciate in value. That's just a dead investment. You dump it into a whole bunch of concrete and that's it.
Perfect? No, I think he's. I don't personally. I'm not a big fan of who he is and what he does and how he lives.
And this is like all slush. I might need a
and the things that he did for our country were good.
The Mudd family is living both the American dream and the American divide. A business Jim.
Okay, wait. Okay, I'm gonna grab a spoon for this, and I might grab water. 1 second. Well, here, what the thing?
Mudd Sr. started in his basement 42 years ago, now employs 80 people, clients coast to coast.
Like, Jesus Christ, this dude fucking inherited this business and still, like, man. These people irritate the shit out of me.
I'm going to be fine with your jokes, but I'm not sure about dark Brandon.
Dad and 3 sons are Republicans and Trump supporters. 2 daughters are Democrats.
Thanksgiving dinner. They still come. We still love them.
We visited as Trump was indicted a second time by the special counsel.
I feel like there's always a
so hard. Why are they going after this guy so hard? Does everybody really believe that everything that happened was exactly the way that the government's laying it out today? I don't.
Well, you'd have to have some evidence for that, bud.
Don't watch and don't trust CNN. There is reverence for Ronald Reagan here. But listen.
The trust is gone.
Reagan's optimism replaced by Trump's grievances.
We got to find our own way to take care of ourselves.
Reagan's disdain of big government replaced by Trump's distrust of just about everything.
I think he thinks he stole from him.
Still questions about the 2020 election.
And I had a lot of people who agreed with him.
Criticism of the Trump prosecutions.
But nothing about that deal is the American way. I don't think.
And
let's be clear. Let's be really, really clear. That old guy, he sees a white guy and goes, that ain't someone who deserves to be prosecuted. What they need to do is go into the big cities where them urbanites reside and go throw the book at them. Let's be real about this one.
And this. If you think the United States should be supporting Ukraine in the fight against Putin, raise your hand.
Ask the question.
Nobody.
So you're pro-fascist?
Connect the dots, right? And so is the war to cover up sins committed so you can cover your tracks? There's too much money that's been thrown over there.
You think all the NATO countries would do what Biden told them to do because he's trying to cover up some Hunter Biden business deal by...
It all depends on how Zelensky, how much dirt he has on Biden to keep the money coming.
That's out there.
No, because it's my field, right?
Hey, well, how do you trust?
Really? That's the best. CNN guy. I don't know this guy's name. That's the best you got? Well, that's a lot. That's it? That's the only, these people aren't capable of even like pushing back on fascism from just normal everyday people.
The government has shut down Facebook and shut down Twitter and told them to not show certain news stories.
A few days here makes clear Trump's grip is very strong.
Oh my God.
Roughly half of the party wants to move on, and they see their first in the nation vote as the best chance to derail him. The growth around Des Moines is stunning, and the suburbs are Trump's kryptonite.
Am I crazy? Didn't Trump lose the Iowa caucus the first year? The first go around? Didn't Cruz win that? And then he went on to fucking slaughter everybody afterward. I could be wrong. I'll look it up on the side, but
nice.
I don't appreciate the negativity.
Jocelyn Taylor is a single mother who manages construction projects. Tim Scott intrigues her. Nikki Haley, too.
I'm a little concerned about it.
Sometimes Ron DeSantis.
There's just a lot of around him. is that a technical term?
Betsy Sarcone, also a single mom, says DeSantis is her current favorite, but he hasn't closed the sale. She is done with Trump's GOP.
I see the party as a party of personal responsibility. And for this man to still be on the national stage representing the Republican Party is very troubling to me.
Sarcone and Taylor live a few miles apart, but don't know each other. Both voted for Trump
damn,
twice
they're
after
gonna,
supporting someone else.
They're
in the
going to be looking
2016
down those
caucuses.
streets
Both want someone
with
new this
fucking
time.
side eyes.
Both think shop now, but in the end, rally friends around one Trump alternative.
I think the moderates need to band together.
That's kind of like a no-brainer, right?
Sioux City is 200 miles from the Des Moines suburbs. Trump is much.
Oh no, I'm full of shit. Iowa went fucking to John Kasich. Oh wow, never mind. I thought it was Cruz. Cruz wasn't even close. John Kasich, 46.9% in the Republican primary. Wow. What are like, can I, wait, let's see. Let's see, presidential primaries. What are the results? Let's see. Trump, Cruz, Kasich, yeah. Holy shit, is Iowa that far to the east? Am I crazy? Do I not know where Iowa is? Wait, I'm fucking stupid. I put in Ohio, didn't I? I put in Ohio. Shit. Okay. That makes more sense. Iowa. Here we go. Democratic Republican caucus. Here we go. No. Fuck yeah, I was right. I was right after all. Ted Cruz 27.6, Trump 24.3. Yeah. Yeah. If I remember correctly, that didn't, let's see. Republican Republican primary. Let's take a look. Yeah, so who let's see. Who Yeah, Trump won. Where did he end up winning? Oh my god. Yeah, so like Cruz took this, Marco Rubio took like Minnesota. Cruz took New Hampshire. God, it's fucking bloodbath everywhere else. Colorado, ugh, that's depressing. Colorado went Cruz. Nah, but we went Bernie though. We went Bernie in the Democratic one both times. So.
Did you caucus in 2016?
I did.
For who?
I caucused for Trump.
Why?
Well, he does have charisma. I mean, whether you like him or not, he does. I liked his policies.
Attorney Priscilla Forsyth is a Democrat turned Trump voter, but she thinks he should have honored the 2020 election results.
I think we need to get rid of Biden. I think we need to get rid of Trump. I think we need to move on.
Forsyth and friend Lisa McGaffey are Sioux City.
I don't get it. Why get rid of Biden? What the fuck has Biden done? Like, don't get me wrong, he's not my favorite president, but has he done anything to disqualify himself? And if anybody wants to say, if anybody wants to bring up Hunter Biden, I invite you to drop the evidence down in the comments section or in chat for me. I don't want any conspiracy. I want hard evidence.
City Explorers fans. McGaffey, though, not scouting a new candidate. You think Donald Trump is an honest and trustworthy person?
Yes. Yes.
This is warm-up season. 5 months until Iowa votes. 5 months until Republicans divided over Trump make a defining choice.
Jesus.
First, my thanks to those good people you see in the piece there. A lot of them don't trust CNN. We're going to try to build a relationship. It's important to me over the next 5 months as we see how they vote. Now I want to use my old...
Are you going to do that by not pushing back and just kind of going, wow, that's a lot when they say like insane things?
Friend here for a little flashback. You heard about the talk. Trump supporters think the crowded field helps him. Trump critics think the crowded field helps him. This is a flashback. Remember 2016? Trump was second in Iowa to Ted Cruz. Then he went on to win New Hampshire, and the rest is literally history.
Wait, no.
But look at the map right here. Where was Donald Trump weakest
Hampshire?
in 2016? That's the key point you get from spending a week in Iowa. Look here around the Des Moines suburbs, right? Look out here. That's Marco Rubio, Iowa City. That's 2016. That's 7 years ago. Let me be clear. Trump is stronger in Iowa now than he was when he placed second 7 years ago. But if you look at the changes in Iowa over these years, right? Keep that up there, and let's bring this in here. Let's turn this off, and let's bring in some changes here. Look at this population growth.
What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck is the screen? Do the thing.
In Iowa. Number one, the overall state population change. The deeper the colors, that means the population is rising. Let me zoom in right here on the highest population change. Let's bring this back out and take a look at this. The highest population change is where? Des Moines in the suburbs, out here in Iowa City. That's where the population is growing. New voters, 60,000 new people just in Metro Des Moines. They're not all voters, they're not all Republicans, but out of those 60,000, a lot of them are. That makes it available. Consider that. Look at the growth of the population here, then go back in time to 2016. Where Trump was weakest is the population growth. You'd have to say today, talking to Republicans on the ground.
That also kind of depends on where people are moving into the state from. Obviously, like you said, the population growth isn't, that's like everybody, so not everyone can vote. Not everyone's a Republican Party voter, but more people is probably going to help his numbers overall, I think.
Voters, strategists, smart people.
You would have to assume that, like, the people coming in are
favorite. If you're going to stop him,
Trump.
you need to do it early. The best hope would be Iowa, because Trump is very, very popular in New Hampshire, and then it goes on and on. So how would you rank this today, especially after spending a week with those Iowa Republicans last week? It is improbable today, if it were today, that anyone could stop Trump, especially when, like 7 years ago, you have so many candidates. But there's a debate in a couple weeks. A lot of candidates expected, perhaps, to drop out by the time we get to Iowa. So improbable you could beat him, especially if it were today. But it is impossible. Is it impossible? No. It's a narrow path, but the math is right here in the Des Moines suburbs and beyond, which is why I'm honored, privileged, actually, to spend the next 5 months on the road going back to those great people.
Ugh, disgusting. Disgusting. And it's not really, I don't say disgusting as like talking to people. It's just this like obsession with civility politics, and this like obsession with like humanizing or I think trying to overanalyze and over privilege these sorts of groups of voters is just like, ugh, leaves a bad taste. All right, now for the fun part. Now I'm kind of curious. Now this is let's see, where did we visit a Trump rally? I don't know where they said
Extreme
this was.
Socialism, obviously.
Hey, that's the day after my birthday. Look at that.
All agree communism doesn't work. Yeah. But
All right, anyway, let's this is a Trump rally. It's in America. This guy's face is funny, but we'll start over.
extreme socialism, obviously, we'll all agree communism doesn't work. Yeah. But extreme capitalism, as we're seeing right now,
does not
with
work.
this corporate capitalism, also has its problems.
How much money is too much money for one?
Well, extreme. I'll take that. That's late. I'll take that. That's late stage capitalism, baby.
One person.
It's a tough call. I know. When they have these billions, you're like, well, they really don't need it. Yeah, we agree with that.
Why Trump instead of Bernie Sanders?
What I look at is more progressives like the Bernie Sanders faction, stuff like that. We actually see a lot of the same problems.
And I would vote
for a
This
Bernie
is true.
Sanders before I'd vote for like a Ted Cruz or a Marco Rubio.
What would it
True,
have
true,
taken
true,
for
true,
you
true.
guys?
Now, actually, I think I've talked a little bit about this. Bernie did pretty well with like Republicans, mainly because he spoke to and was truthful about the what's the word? The hypocrisies and pitfalls of our system. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We're well past 2016 and litigating that. But certainly, like, what Republican Party voters are looking for, I think, are answers to why this country is not thriving in a way that they remember it doing when they were younger, and why it feels like we've hit a stagnation point. Because that's like, I think overall, that's the thing that you can really come together with Republicans and agree on, right? Like there's a stagnation point, and what they're looking for is somebody who's willing to speak truthfully, or at the very least validate their belief that there is a stagnation in our country. And after that, the answers are kind of, I think are left up to a bit of bias, but certainly any of these people would be, when it comes down to it, Biden will say, this is America, everything's going good, we're doing great, the jobs reports are good, the economy is good, COVID is over, all of this stuff, right? And Bernie Sanders might say, like, yes, all this stuff is good, but we have underlying problems that even when everything works exactly the way it should, regular, average, normal, working class Americans aren't seeing the benefit to any of this. The benefits of a thriving society is no longer being distributed evenly, or at the very least fairly, amongst the classes in our population. What we are seeing is a bottleneck at the top, that a lot of the benefits go to the top, some of it goes to the middle, and barely any of it hits the bottom. And Trump speaks to that. He does. He's not honest about it. He's certainly not really interested in addressing those problems, but he'll speak to it. He will at the very least acknowledge that existence. Democrats like Biden and Pelosi, Clinton, people like that just simply won't. It's not in their, not just their class interest, but it's also not in their it's not in their politics to admit this to something so it's not in their politics to point to structural instability, because their goal, their center, the thing that they are maintenance people. They maintain the system. They don't change it. They don't they're not changing it. They're not fixing it. They're maintaining it. That's the difference.
Is to not go into the rally and to instead get ice cream with me, a flaming leftist.
Well, first of all, you
I'd
have
be
to
happy-
buy.
All right, I'm buying. We are polarized. There is no doubt about it. But I came to this Trump rally on a hunch. I've poured drinks at a Rust Belt dive bar for the last year, and when your county votes for Trump and the bartender looks like I do, people kind of assume that you're on the same page. But sometimes you actually are. So here's my hunch. For all the focus on culture war issues, the working class on the left and the right have a lot more in common than we're.
Okay, and I think we talked a little bit about this with the Ben Shapiro thing. Yeah, the working class agrees on quite a lot, an overwhelmingly large amount of I think an understanding and frame for the world. The working class has a pretty broad understanding of like the world around them, because again, and like Ben Shapiro doesn't understand this because he thinks it's all cultural because it plays more into his political wheelhouse, but it's because of class lines. All these people have the same class incentives. It's not to lower taxes so that, trickle down economics can piddle down a few little droplets on them. What they want to see is a tax, is a formation of our tax code so that, people at the top get taxed a decent amount, people in the middle get taxed a decent amount, people in the bottom get taxed a decent amount. And, nobody's being like, held over a barrel, but certainly people in the middle class and lower shouldn't be paying a higher percentage of their wages than the people who who are making billions. Plain and simple, they understand that the game is rigged against them, that the people who make the decision as to what the format of our society looks like isn't up to them. They understand that politicians, that policymakers, that think tanks, that organizations, that lobbyists, that all of these people come together, incredibly wealthy people. They come together and they decide and they come to a predetermined calculation that what we need to do is look out for business, look out for people in our class. And it's why you don't get big tax reforms from the Democratic Party and you get big tax cuts from the Republican Party. That's why. There's never an attempt from the Democratic Party to turn the car around on a lot of the overreach of the tax cuts in a Republican-led administration. They don't look to U-turn that stuff. They look to just back it up maybe just a little, and then that's where we'll stop. Everything's fine. We can keep going the way it is, the way the taxes are right now. We don't have to go back to how it used to be, or whatever the percentage used to be, or any of that sort of stuff. So yeah, like everyone here understands how the game is rigged, that they're not the ones making the decision, even though they're a much larger majority of the population than the people who are
led to believe. And if that's true, it could and should have huge implications for the upcoming presidential election. So I went to Erie, Pennsylvania to find out. Are we rolling? Okay. We're here at the Trump rally today. Why did you come out today?
To support my 45th president. He didn't lose. He called out the Washington establishment, and I absolutely loved it.
You know, he's definitely not a Republican because Mitch McConnell and them would be backing him and DeSantis would be running against him. You're obviously not a Democrat no more, so we're more of a politically homeless faction that...
Oh my God, you got Anna Kasparian. My God.
Loves America, and we'll make all the changes that we can to make it great.
Prices are just higher. Like, you go to the grocery store. I buy the same thing every time I go to the grocery store. I spend $102 at Aldi's. I was just telling my uncle this. I'm spending over $200 now. So things are more expensive. I think people are more scared.
Our money doesn't have no value, and that's why we're having problems. This whole inflation thing, it's been building and building for multi-decades, and it's getting close now.
And keep in mind, this is under Biden's Fed policy, or at the very least, I shouldn't say the issue with Biden in terms of the Fed policy is that he has left the same people in charge that Trump left in charge. And because of that, they've been continuing to raise rates until the point in which they kind of activate a recession. That's kind of the plan, it seems like. You know, kick enough people out of work, make enough people desperate, and you'll see inflation fall. Even though inflation is falling. Inflation is actually rather low right now. But, you know, they want to keep pushing to kind of punish workers for making more money during the pandemic and such.
You work at McDonald's, right?
I do.
Do you feel like you're getting everything out of work that you're putting into it?
I believe I should get paid more. All I am doing is I'm working my ass off to get my money. I'm a hard worker, and I feel like I deserve more.
I work.
And keep in mind, the party that he's voting for has said multiple times that McDonald's workers should be paid shit because it should be a starter job, even though there's no such thing as a starter job. That's not like an industry. It's just a job. But because the Republican Party doesn't respect the poor and doesn't see their work as real work because it doesn't make as much money, they don't give half a shit. To that kid, the Republican Party would keep his wages low and keep him in the position he's in, where he probably can't afford to move out, can't afford to really do much of anything with his life. Which, by the way, leads people to, when you can't do much, what do? You do what you can, which is usually drugs and drink.
Worked down in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yep, on the
West
rigs for
Virginia.
Evil Big Red, Halliburton.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Halliburton, we were 2 weeks on, 1 week off, so you never got to go home. We were the lowest paid of all the workers out there. I only made $13.50 when I got hired on.
For Halliburton.
For Halliburton, yep. Probably wouldn't even have an Iraq war if it wouldn't.
And keep in mind, that's Halliburton, who's incredibly rich. But because they operate in a red state, the wages aren't. The wage floor is incredibly low. So they can argue, hey, look, we can pay you $7.25. We're being nice and paying you 13, whatever the fuck he said.
Have been for the Halliburton and Cheney and stuff. We were expendable. That's all it was. Halliburton, Big Red, they called it. You're just part of the machine, and the machine can be replaced.
As expendable as, you know, people who went over to fight a rich person's war in iraq.
Yep, pretty much.
5 years ago,
Rich person. You mean Republican president?
I have zero respect for Dick Cheney. I have zero respect for George Bush.
What did it for you there, and why did you end up going towards Trump?
It was a lie.
And this might
they
sound
lied
stupid.
about the Iraq war. There were, you know, there was no reason for us to go into war in Iraq other than the military-industrial complex wanted a war.
The global corporation.
And who was the lone senator standing up against that? That's right. You're right. You're right if you thought Bernard.
They have,
actually, he's not the lone. There were a couple, but still.
Too much, just enough, or too little power. Where would you place
I feel like their only thought is more money,
right?
More power. That's all you care. Whoever has the most money.
Obviously, it's too much.
AKA capitalism. They like when people say like kind of capitalism is like at the core of a lot of this. This is what we mean. If you understand that money equals power and money will inevitably give you control over a society, then you understand what the critique of capitalism is. Too much money, too much power in the hands of too few and not in the hands of the democratic many will always lead to detrimental living conditions for more people, to to the larger group, to the poor worker every time.
Yep. When you have a company like BlackRock that's worth $9 trillion,
and Vanguard's what?
Vanguard's $8 trillion. Obviously, I'm not going to argue. There's a problem with that.
Do you think the finance sector?
Yeah.
Does it have too much power? Just the right amount of power, not enough power.
Way too much power.
The financial sector.
100%.
Interesting.
Yes. Yep. These people really, a lot of these people they don't realize are unelected officials. So all these politicians have this plan for how they're going to fix the economy, but then they just get in there, they don't do anything, and they're funded by the people, and those people are not elected, and they control the people that are elected.
So he's mostly right. I would only correct that in that they're put there specifically to do nothing. There's a reason why the filibuster has prevented the Senate from passing legislation in like God knows how long, and now everything gets decided by the Supreme Court. And the reason for that is the Supreme Court can just make whatever decision they'd like to come to. They don't have to justify it. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be consistent. They can just decide whether you have rights or whether you don't have rights. That is just the thing they get to interpret. So if you're able to stack the Supreme Court with enough pro-business, conservative justices, the way the Republican Party has, it is it is an ace in the hole for when you also have a 60%, where you have a 60% threshold to pass anything in the Senate, or 60 vote threshold, sorry, to pass anything in the Senate, meaning you're not going to pass anything in the Senate, ever. You're never going to pass anything. You're going to sit there and nothing's going to get done unless both parties can agree on it. But the only thing both parties are ever going to agree on are going to be just a little bit of tax reform, just a little, just comfortable tax reform, and, a few things here or there. That's why Build Back Better got gutted. You know? And at the end of the day, he's right though. You know, these people, it's not that they get in there and they suddenly can't do anything. It's that they're put in place to do nothing.
What role do you think, you know, the consolidation of these larger corporations? You know, I came from an agricultural background, and now it'll be 3 or 4 companies that control the entire market for chicken, for eggs, for beef.
That shouldn't happen.
Yeah. The working class has gotten beaten up because of the loss of small businesses. And my question would be, well, I would say, well, why aren't they here anymore?
As a small business owner, I feel like we aren't represented that much in America.
Do you see a problem with that kind of operation?
Oh, 100%.
When it's
because the big guys are.
And keep in mind, small business leaders are represented in the Republican Party, but they're only really used as a as like marketing. The Republican Party treats small business interests with the same disdain that they hold for you know, veterans, where every other minute they're ready to trot out the military, and you know, they're ready to venerate the soldiers and everything else. But when it's time to vote to give funding to the VA, they're nowhere to be found. And it's the same thing for small business owners. At the end of the day, the Republican Party has no interest in helping small business owners, because small business owners don't pay for elections. Large businesses do. Purdue Pharma pays for elections. BlackRock pays for elections. Halliburton pays for elections. All of these groups pay for elections. Your local, you know, like that solar guy from the last video we watched, your solar installer business guy, that guy sends the max 2,500 donation to whatever candidate, and that's it. He's not out here donating to super PACs, you know, millions, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So, you know, Trump's not picking up that guy's call. What is this, Pennsylvania? Whoever his congressman or whoever his House of Representative person is, not picking up his calls. Because, you know, he doesn't pay them enough.
Are beating out the small guys or even the family-owned businesses, you know, easily.
The destruction of Main Street.
These really large corporations that are, you know, just by their size pushing the little guy out.
Yes.
How big of a problem do you think that is?
That's an ultimate problem. That reminds you of watching them Westerns movies when they would go to some small town and the one guy owns the bar, he owns the tack place, he owns that. Yes. There's
called
so
robber
many houses
barons
for sale in our neighborhood. I was going to go to town and say, are these all, you know, can we find out, are these just real people buying them, or is this like proxies? See, BlackRock proxies, Vanguard proxies. Are they buying all these homes so people can't own them and they're just going to rent them?
I'm going to be fine with your jokes, but I'm not sure about dark
what he's
Brandon.
actually talking about is absolutely happening. What is happening is organizations like BlackRock, hedge funds, all of these kind of organizations are buying up a lot of housing, a lot of houses, especially single-family houses, and because they're buying a lot of them up, using a lot of cash and, you know, a lot of the investment money that they get, as they buy those houses up, if there's not enough houses being built to compensate for that, the inventory of housing goes down. The price of that housing, meaning the value of any house, you know, if there's only 2 houses and you take one of them, the price of your house, the value of your one house there goes up quite a bit, right? So, like, you know, and that's how it's looked at as an investment property. So, you know, as they buy up these houses, the inventory goes up, the value goes up. Now we have, and then you look at a situation that we have today where most people, you know, especially people my age, can't afford to buy houses. They're like, you know, looking through, it's like, you know, you look through, there's like a condo unit very close, like, you know, not too far from us. It's like probably maybe not walking distance, but a decent distance away from where I live. Not too much bigger than our apartment. And again, this is a condo. And they want $400,000 for it. Just a condo. It's not a, it's not even a separated single family home. It's got 2 bedrooms. And they want $400,000. And it's, you look at that and you go, how's anybody supposed to afford that? What are you supposed to do when you can't even afford condos? So, and that's why. Because they saw an investment opportunity, and it's going to fuck you over, working class guy. But hey, it's going to line the pockets of some $1 million investor.
Well, of course, it's just.
And then he's going to send that money right to his super PAC. And then, they won't regulate, they won't regulate any of those groups.
And that's what needs to be done.
Capitalism's not the problem. It's been corrupted to such a level, just like people think all the politicians are corrupted. But it's corrupted at the highest levels of these corporations, like you said, being owned.
And again, this guy, he understands it. I this is always one of those things where people explain the heart of a socialist critique of capitalism, and what's the word I'm looking for? The hypocrisies, injustices, and the way that the system will always build itself out to be. Capitalism will inevitably always lead, to this form of this form of wealth accumulation and power accumulation. It's just not. I don't personally believe that it's feasible to ever see a version of capitalism, a system in which wealth and power is concentrated around people who have wealth and power. That's the entire goal of the system, right? The point of capitalism is to amass as much wealth as you can. That's how you win capitalism. And the reason why I am a proponent of socialism is because of the democratic nature of it, because of the inherent bias towards decentralized democratic control of resources by the people who most interact with those resources. That's why I'm a supporter of socialism, why I'm somebody who advocates for it as an alternative to capitalism. And when all of these ideas, hundreds of years old, the actual ideas of these things and people's understanding of socialism and capitalism, I think, are warped by decades of propaganda, decades of miseducation, quite frankly. And so this guy gets it. I don't know if this dude's ever going to be the, socialist warrior that we need, but I do think this guy gets it at the heart. He's not willing to take that leap, but, I don't necessarily think he ever needs to believe in socialism. As long as you can believe in democracy, you can get there without all of the theory and everything else.
Instead of 200 of them, you're down to 4.
Yeah.
That's a massive control.
You think somebody like Trump with the billions and the business, I mean, we're talking about really large monopolies here.
Mm-hmm.
He's more in there, period.
Yeah, I agree. You're right, right.
He has a financial interest to do that kind of policy.
I always even consider Trump even like a crony capitalist. He's not perfect, you know what I mean? He was a capitalist guy, and everybody always
keep in mind this guy says was, he still is.
Against take the lady, kick her out of her house for all that stuff. Yeah, that's falls into that. Like I said, I don't know. I come to a Trump rally. Doesn't mean I think he's the greatest guy.
Can you really trust a billionaire? Help me understand why that's a thing for you.
Yeah, so with billionaires, I would say honestly, no, you can't.
Yeah.
I'll say with Trump, when he debated Hillary Clinton in 2016, she said all these things about the tax laws, all this, and Trump said, where have you been for 30 years? You haven't done anything about it. And then he said, I know you're not going to do it because all your donors who fund your campaign benefit from the same tax breaks and tax laws I do.
Right.
So whether it's left or right, these people, they're not really going to change the tax laws from the donors that are funding their campaign.
The power.
Now, keep in mind, he's right about that critique. And like, that was a great line from Trump. I'm not going to take that away from the big guy. You know, that was a pretty salient critique. But unfortunately, over in reality, we have to acknowledge that while Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, people I mentioned before, he's right. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to pass sweeping tax changes to finally set this country back on the right path in terms of its relationship between its citizens and the wealth distribution of people in different classes. They're not going to do that, right? We have to reckon with the fact that Democrats aren't going to do that. But Republicans also aren't. And even worse, Republicans are going to exacerbate the worst problems we have in our tax code. Donald Trump, at the end of the day, didn't pass tax reform that helped more working class people. He passed tax reform that helped more rich people. Like, at the end of it's just, you know, like, I understand it's, you know, people go, oh, it's not a left or a right thing. It's just, you know, Hillary was lying and, you know, she's not going to do anything, which, yeah, you're right. But not doing anything is better than passing a tax reform bill that is actively making it worse. Like, just the, you know, this is where we need to communicate openly and I think clearly with people that the choice they have are things stay the same or things get worse. And you should always be voting to keep things as they are, and in the between time, working to make things better. That's, you know, there's a lot of debate in left circles about the same thing, about, oh, you know, Joe Biden is not, you know, the whatever we need. Everyone's got their beef with Brandon, and like, that's fine, guys. And my message to any leftists in terms of in terms of the election coming up is rather simple. No steps forward is better than 3 steps back. So you take the no steps forward. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not fun. I know it doesn't feel good, but this is what being an adult is. This is what being a responsible participant in democracy is. Understanding and analyzing and calculating what are your better moves. What are the better decisions you get to make? We don't get to make decisions that aren't options. So you take the ones that are better than the worst option. That's how this works. Anyway.
Are so strong that these people have built up that, yeah, and I don't have answers, and because I know that's what you want. You know, you want to hear what can we do. I just don't think politics is going to do it. Just getting in like a civil war thing is just who wants to do that kind of stuff? You know what I mean?
I'm kind of in the same place. I don't have the answers. Will politics do it? If politics doesn't do it, what else will? I look out at a couple 100,000 workers at UPS recently.
Yes. Did they vote on it yet?
So
Did
they
it
haven't
pass?
voted on it yet.
I heard about that.
It was negotiated, and there was, you know, threat of the strike. They were really organized. They won $30 billion over the term of that contract, you know, by being organized. So I look at something like that and say, if this is about control and about working class people having a seat at the table at a company as big as UPS, we just saw their unity win $30 billion worth of, you know, cash in the pocket. Does that sit well with folks?
Nonviolent direct action does work. You know, we've been hearing all about the boycotts. You just mentioned 100,000 people. That's a lot of people. You don't want to mess with that.
This contract was $30 billion. That was from workers standing together. Didn't have anything to do with government. Is that something?
And that's the thing. You're not going to find a working class person who's going to be, or maybe you will, but seldom will you find a working class individual, right or left, that are going to be anti-union, because they understand that unions are to their benefit, that coming together with their working class with their working class brothers and sisters is going to be the way that they win a better, a better position in life, a better, a better spot, more ability for them to demand better workplaces, demand better pay, demand a more equitable relationship between them and management. They understand that this is good. This is exactly what you want. This is what the working class should be fighting for. This isn't super. Luckily, this isn't something that I think. What's the word I'm looking for? This is again one of those things where class will really show you where people draw the lines, especially on economics.
You guys support?
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. No hesitation. No hesitation at all.
So if my coworkers wanted to make more, and since I want to make more, I'll probably organize something that could help make us more, like maybe a petition.
Yeah, right. Or union activity.
Yes.
A lot of that. Yeah. And would you be really excited by Trump coming out and supporting workers who are doing that?
Yes.
Seeing Trump on a picket line?
Yes.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, all Trump has to do is fucking be pro-union. That's it.
Button issues. You can't get away from them. You never hear about UPS.
Not today. No, honestly, I didn't know that until you told me.
Why do you think that is?
Well, they just made a big move doing that too.
Because who's running the show? Listen, we lost our republic decades ago. We're living in an oligarchy. So they're the ones calling the shots.
My
because
God.
that's where the money's come from. The media, everybody.
My man
You'll
just
see
went out
things
there and
like
said
the
it.
board or whatever they put on, the TV. You'll
Or
have
trying to divide people.
Yes.
A lot of the stories are trying to divide
exactly
people. to get them to
divide,
go
keep
against
them
each
off the
other.
ball.
We're not supposed to be doing this.
Yeah, it's weird that it's that.
They want. I
weird
feel like
that
this
we're
all for
talking.
distraction, to be honest.
Yeah.
They want.
And keep in mind, the people they're describing, the border wall, pronouns, all of this stuff isn't distractions that the left are concerned with, aren't distractions that the left initiates in, or aren't distractions that the left initiates. We answer when Ben Shapiro goes out there and does his whole spiel about, the culture is the real thing that's that people care about. That's where the real dividing lines are. We are looking right now at a perfect demonstration of class consciousness and class solidarity. Because these people are working class. They have no interest in restricting abortion. At least they don't seem like they have much of an interest in restricting abortion. They don't seem like they have an interest in talking about the border. They don't seem like they have much of an interest in talking about trans rights. Every single day, the issues that matter to these people are going to be the ones that allow them to put food on their table, pay their bills, live a decent life, and everything else. But what the Republican Party and what a lot of the media acolytes on the Republican side seize upon are wedge issues. And at the end of the day, not that wedge issues aren't important, and certainly it should be, this isn't to say that we should never challenge Republicans when they bring up these sorts of issues. We absolutely should be. But, from an electoral standpoint, the Democratic Party and candidates running in that party need to understand that this is the moment. This is the format. If you want to win broad elections and do all of the positive cultural policy. If you have these underpinnings and you know how to communicate them well, then you will succeed as a Democratic Party candidate, I think, even in red districts.
Us to argue.
It is. That's
Yeah,
exactly.
they want
it's
us to
this
argue.
Facade of
Yes.
or there's two sides when in reality there hasn't been two sides since the 1980s.
These are just the conversations that we had at one Trump rally, but you saw it. It did not take long to find people who agree that politicians should reject the money from billionaires, should break up massive corporate monopolies, and forever.
And let's keep in mind, now, good video. Shouts out to More Perfect Union. Good stuff. I don't want to say, I don't know what the percentage of the Republican Party looks like. I don't know what percentage these people represent, but it ain't like, I'd be hesitant to say that it's that it's some deep minority that's irrelevant or uninteresting to us. We should always be looking to convert and talk to these people, because they understand, and I think they've got that like where they get it. They know that something's not right, and they're even right on some of the cases in which they're citing. It's just, at the end of the day, they're going to get either, it's all about offering people, I think, answers, right? Answers to their problems. Why is it hard to buy houses? Is it, the Republican Party might say because people don't want to work anymore. They might say because Biden's ruined the economy with inflation. They might say, I don't know, insert whatever you think. A Republican Party voter might say that, why you can't buy a house right now. But but I certainly know what I think the biggest problem is, and it's the commodification of housing. It's been the process of turning housing, homes, all of that into investments for people who don't intend on using them, people who don't intend on living with them, people who are just there to siphon off some value so that they can make an extra buck. And the money that they make from those investments goes right to the politicians that they pay to sit in office and not regulate them. And when they're lucky, they can get a Republican Party candidate into the White House who will then cut their taxes. So, but, we'll kind of see as time goes on, man. We'll kind of see. I think it's going to be a interesting election year like it has been the last couple of them. The last two before this presidential elections. Big, interesting elections. So, I'm sure we'll see more of that. But either way, that's actually going to do it for me today. We actually didn't get to the Utah thing, but we'll watch that maybe like next week. I still kind of want to look into this because there's a breaking points video, and we'll get into it. But either way, that's going to do it for this week, actually. If you hung out in chat, if you if you were just lurking in chat, if you liked any of what you saw, learned anything, got some catharsis out of it, or just, liked hanging out, certainly encourage you to hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button on whichever platform you're on. Helps me out, helps the channel out, keeps the ball rolling and everything else. Otherwise, I don't really have any notes for next week. We'll just be back on the normal. Actually, no, I think next week we're gonna be at like midday shows all next week. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, it'll be more in the middle of the day that we stream. So either way, everyone have a lovely night. I'll see you all Monday. Yeah. Sounds good. Bye-bye.